Okay, let's investigate the darkening modes. Now, before I do, you'll notice that on a standard document that you've just created, you won't be able to blend anything with the background layer because by default the background layer is locked. Now, this normally doesn't matter though, because in order for a blending mode to have an effect, you either need an active layer and a background layer so that the two layers can interact and blend together, or you need an adjustment layer that will work as a sort of dummy layer and be a fill-in for a duplicate of the previous layer. So the last video demonstrated that, but let me show you again. All I'm going to do is click and create any layer I want, but I'm going to stick with brightness contrast because I can quickly see that it's off, so nothing is happening to it. And I'm going to get rid of that mask. I'm going to call this overlay blending, if I could type. And I'm going to go ahead and set it to overlay so that it matches. Look how much brighter that is. It feels better because there's more contrast in the darks and the brights. When we get to overlay, I'll explain why that is. Now, for now, I'm going to go ahead and unlock this just so that I can name this lady with umbrella. And then we'll also have person with camera. Okay, so we have this going on. Now, if I wanted to, I could merge this down at this point. And now, voila, it's just adjusted. I'm not, you know what? I will do that for this demonstration just to prove what's going on. I just need to brighten this image up so it will work a little bit better with the darkening modes. Okay, so inside the darkening modes, we can see that we have darken color, we have multiply, linear burn, and color burn. Now, I'm going to say this a few times, but the darken and the lighten modes have opposites. So in other words, if you wanted to do the opposite of darken, you have lighten. If you wanted to do the opposite of darken color, you have lighten color. Opposite of multiply is screen. Opposite of color burn is color dodge. Opposite of linear burn is linear dodge add. So if you want the reverse effect of a darkening, if you want it to be lightening, but in the same manner that you were darkening, just count down where you were and you'll find the opposite right around in there. All right, so let's turn this on so we can have two images blending together. First off, we have darkening. Now, darkening and darken color are very, very similar, and I tend to mix them up because in my mind they're opposite. They're reversed from how they should be. But taking a look at channels, things can become a little clearer. Break this up. Let's turn this off. So, darken evaluates the active layer's pixels and compares it to the background layer's pixels. It will show the pixels of the darkest luminance value, and it's just an on-off proposition. So in other words, if I were to set this to normal so we could see it, on each channel, yeah, this is the other bit. This is a channel by channel basis, and this is where I always get mixed up. It's not a composite basis. So a composite basis would be the RGB on one layer compared to the RGB on the other layer that's involved in this, and it would look across that to get it done. In the case of a channel by channel, it will compare the blue channel to the blue channel, the green channel to the green channel, the red channel to the red channel. That's what's going on in the event of a channel by channel basis. And darken is a channel by channel basis, and it's just an on-off proposition. So this is what we get. We end up with a sort of mixture where we have some strange colors. We've got some grayed out sections in this area because we have some darker bits than the skin tone on some layers, but not on others. And it looks kind of messy and strange. Now, a lot of times what you really want to do is just have the composite occurring. And that's not to say you'll never need something like darken, which will do a channel by a channel basis. But frequently I've found that I'm usually after the composite, darken by darken. Now, the composite one is called darken color, which to me is absolutely reverse. of what what I would think of. Darken color to me would be the color channels being darkened one at a time, but really it's saying, well, you don't have color without all 3 channels, so we'll call it darken color. But them's the breaks, so just keep this in mind. Darken will do a channel by channel comparison. Darken color will do a composite comparison. Now you can see that in this case, we get a better effect going on, in my opinion, of about what we'd expect. We have a fuzzy white, I'm not sure what you'd call this material. It's not really wool, but it's some kind of faux wool on the jacket. It's very light. It's a white. But on the lady, she is very dark, and so of course she shows up. And then you have her very light face, which is a little bit lighter than the darker grays and whites inside of the cuff. So of course the cuff shows up. So this is very intuitive in how it works, and it will make sense pretty much off the bat. So that's darken and darken color. For ease of reference, I'm going to go ahead and break these videos up into smaller pieces. My initial plan had been to go over darkens and then lightens and then contrast modes, then the cancellation, exclusion modes, inversion modes, all those, and then the composite modes. However, if you guys want to come back later and quickly see what does what, I don't want you to have to watch through 4 videos of things that aren't pertinent to what you're looking up. So that will be it for this section of the darken modes, and I will see you in a minute for the next one.